The French or the imitator? Then again, I never asked if PuppyPaw was Canadian French, so maybe he knows it inside out as well. Let's find out if he's able to take down someone that has traditionally been seen as a French maestro, the #1 French spammer. It's MarineLorD versus PuppyPaw heading on to Adney's map, Holy Island. And hold on a sec. Wait. Were we lied to? Is this a French mirror?
We might have been lied to. Oh, no, there is no way, because French was banned from MarineLorD. I think we are being lied to right now. We haven't been lied to 2 minutes ago. We're being lied right now.
I feel like I'm in the cutscenes for the Old Republic. You were deceived. I do feel deceived right now, so we'll probably rectify that.
Okay, there we go.
It's English versus French. There we go. So MarineLorD in the red, playing as the English. Will immediately move out for the dock straight away. Interesting choice, actually, considering that the French, if they get their way out to Feudal, can build that Hulk and deny you out. Wait, did he not go? There we go. Okay, he was canceling. I was like, where did the wood go? So this is an interesting play. It does work if MarineLorD gets aggressive on land and blocks out the dock extension. I think PuppyPaw is more likely to go up into Feudal before he is to go for the fish. And like I said, he doesn't necessarily even need to go for the water at all. Like, I've seen builds on this map.
He's fishing. So...
Okay, wait, is he?
Yeah, he's out there with the belligerent dock.
Yeah, with the dock. Okay, I thought it was a mill for a second there because he used some of the resources. Okay, so we are going to get the race then. So now I need to see him move out MarineLorD. Like, if he just parks here and just goes for his Feudal, like, it's Hulks versus Galleys, you do get a discount as the English, but it's still Hulks versus Galleys.
I would have loved to see PuppyPaw pushing that dock up a little bit more, because the biggest problem he's facing is that his Hawks are slow. So if he just moves out, he's gonna have one Hawk against possibly 2 or 3 galleys, and he's gonna get outnumbered. In the meantime, MarineLorD, very successful, collecting essentially all the sheep on the map. Look at this. Ooh. I mean, we know that the Brits are great shepherds, but how about that? 17 sheep already trailing him, and you know where the rest of the sheep are on this map? It's right next to MarineLorD's base. He's yoinking every single herdable possible on this map. And it could be concerning for PuppyPaw should he lose access to fish.
MarineLorD just puts on his best insulting English accent. He's like, right, mate, fancy a doner kebab? Yeah, many, please. Looks like PuppyPaw really does need to actually get value out of this dock. Like, if he loses control of the waterfront, he just might lose complete control of this game. It's not as much MarineLorD needs the sheep as PuppyPaw does. And just taking that away, it's so valuable.
It's massively valuable. It's your backup source of food, so being able to secure so much is just vastly valuable. Now, it looks like it's a race for the remaining sheep close to MarineLorD's base, a race that PuppyPaw might be leading. Look at this. It's like Formula 1 in the medieval times.
MarineLorD's got it. He has the better angle. He's going to get all 4 here. PuppyPaw is very poor in this game.
No way.
And he's now going to get the other one.
That's
the
22.
Micro Master in Age of Empires 4. He shows you why. 24 sheep. Rename this boy Mary. He's got more than one little lamb.
There is one more. There is one more right next to the market. Looks like he's not gonna get it. 24 sheep. Just to give you context about this one, on an ordinary standard map like Dry Arabia or Lipany, there are a total of 24 sheep on the entire map. Now, Adney's maps, including Holy Island, feature slightly more sheep spawning, but this should give you a context of how much food we are taking a look at right now. MarineLorD, that's a wonderful Dark Age for him, and I think that's even an understatement.
Dude, he was one step ahead. He had him on read, right? That's like one of those kind of series where someone has a superpower that lets them predict the next move. Like, he was just one step ahead. It looks dicey, but you have to consider the fact that, like, MarineLorD is slightly edged in on the angle, and then that divot down to snatch another one away. Like I say, there's still fish to consider here. PuppyPaw is not out of this game yet, but what this means is he has 0 backup plans. If the waterfront falls, I think he would insta-call GG. So he needs to all in this and make sure it's guarded, and make sure that he gets his Hulks out ahead of MarineLorD investing in the galleys.
The problem that he's facing is that the Hulks will still take a lot of time to sail to MarineLorD's dock. This is where dropping that dock a little bit more forward could have been something he could have justified. Because if he does that, it's a much shorter distance, so he can pop out the Hulk quickly and immediately smash the opponent's fishing eco in the face. He's not gonna have that opportunity. And if MarineLorD just plays very heavy on the galleys and defensive on the water, you get the feel that PuppyPaw won't be able to win water, at least not quickly.
It's also the cost differentials here, right? You're talking about 720 resources for 2 galleys versus about 540 for a Hulk, but also you get an English discount at 10%, right? And the build speed is slightly quicker. So like for MarineLorD, he'll probably escalate into double dock, and I think he'll keep a 2-for-1 ratio. I actually think that you can blitz through your opponent, especially if you get the blacksmiths, get that projectile upgrade. That's another 6 damage into the flurry attacks. I actually think 2 galleys versus 1 Hulk at that point goes the way of the English, especially if he sets up an outpost here to get the attack speed buffer.
Yeah, that would be a great little touch for him indeed. Just going for a defensive outpost to get the attack buff, and then just playing a defensive game on the water, knowing that at some point, a PuppyPaw is going to have to start committing to land, and he's probably going to have the advantage with that. So I really feel like, indeed, as you pointed out, if MarineLorD plays a defensive game on water, he should have the upper hand. In the meantime, PuppyPaw, not necessarily rushing up Feudal Age over here, only building the landmark with 3, but he should have enough resources to go for a Hawk, essentially right as he hits Feudal.
It's the balance of things, right? Like you actually can't rush it because you wouldn't have enough of the Hulk you just mentioned. So yeah, it is the correct call to make. Other issue he has in this matchup, he will need sails. So why I want to see PuppyPaw get a second dock so that he doesn't have to forgo Hulks to get that research. It's actually a big issue, especially in naval war. It's why we've seen like back in the old days like Boulder Bay, right? The Roost would really suffer from this. They'd be spamming a lot of ships, but they needed their upgrades. They were vital in Castle Age, where other civs didn't require it. And just half a minute, whatever it is, of researching sails or extra damage to not be pushing in a naval combat situation on both sides is enough to lose you the game.
Yeah, and if you consider Boulder Bay, for example, the travel distance between the docks of the 2 players were actually rather short. So the time you need to get those upgrades, or the time you need to just overpower your opponent as a defender with galleys, is something that wasn't there for Boulder Bay because the travel distance was just so small. Whereas here, there's a much larger travel distance, which buys time for MarineLorD to get his own galleys out, possibly with the upgrades, by the time the first Hulk arrives.
And the interesting balance to think about here is that you are going to push land as well as sea, because what are you investing in Navy for? Food. So you've got this food, what are you going to trade it away to get wood and gold? That's possibly an option, but that sounds like a dumb option, right? Just go get more wood and gold instead, build a TC instead of this. So what you're going to see is actually this balance, this very awkwardly finesse balance of getting galleys and Hulks out as well as getting your premium units on land. Now this is where PuppyPaw could edge out an advantage because MarineLorD is static. Ooh. He can get a strong point if he gets an outpost up, and it looks like he has blocked PuppyPaw with the defensive outpost, but he needs to hold an area while PuppyPaw with these knights can actually just go raid and ignore what MarineLorD is trying to push.
You're saying he could raid with knights, but realistically he only has one of those. He's mostly going for horsemen here, and he's gonna have to deal with this aggression because one thing that he's being cut off right now from is gold. So for the time being, MarineLorD is going to slow down the game for PuppyPaw here by denying gold from him, force PuppyPaw to invest into much more land-based army than maybe PuppyPaw wanted, also force him to go for quite a lot of archers here, not just pure knights for raiding.
But MarineLorD, like, look what's happening. The Hulks are being built by PuppyPaw, but MarineLorD doesn't want to actively fight. That knight, in the meantime, you can see the other time is forcing. Like, this is annoying, you're going to lose a knight, but, like, you're slowing down the galley escalation is the important detail. You're trying to win the arms race. And the thing that's notable here is that I don't think MarineLorD is going to move away from a defensive position until maybe, like, 4 or 5 galleys. That might give time. And in fact, it looks like he's on the move with 2. This is dangerous, though, because PuppyPaw will have the second Hulk out by the time he arrives.
Yeah, he's probably just thinking about sniping ships over here. He hasn't seen much aggression from PuppyPaw, so he might not anticipate the second Hawk being there. Maybe he thinks PuppyPaw is not going to invest much on the water, but upon seeing the second Hawk, yeah, he's going to have to pull back indeed. He wasn't expecting the second Hawk to be there.
Yeah, good rotation. Formation shuffling can be so broken in this game when you have a wide split, as you just saw there. Like that Hawk, kind of weird how much slower they are all of a sudden, right? Yep. It's such a weird, phenomenal behavior. You remember the early days of casting where you'd see a villager line and you're like, oh no, they're all screwed. And then they just shuffle their way back to safety. You're like, okay, only one of them died.
Yeah, indeed. Mobility, big factor over here in the favor of MarineLorD. And you see, he detaches one of the galleys. Cheeky little play. And this is why the French could struggle on this map on the water. That lack of mobility is haunting them so badly.
Well, the issue that he will have, though, is that there's time for PuppyPaw to react because MarineLorD didn't get the blacksmiths. He hasn't got the projectile upgrade, so it takes 3 attacks to take down a boat instead of 2. In the meantime, PuppyPaw is just looking to strong-arm this in. You can see an advance come from MarineLorD, but much slower, and MarineLorD cannot take this fight right now. However, because you're next to the double dock, consider this. PuppyPaw cannot optimize his shots as he dances on the lake.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You can even tank some shots with the fishing ships out there. It's fine for you. And you see, you can't escape with the Hawks. You don't have the mobility. You have to fight because you can't retreat. And behind this one, PuppyPaw's fishing eco is also getting smashed by that last galley. Looks like PuppyPaw is gonna get away here because MarineLorD is not in the mood of pursuing. But what's the price that PuppyPaw is paying for this?
Several fishing boats going down. You saw PuppyPaw, he had a third Hulk coming out, but he had to return to defend. It will clutch up to keep some of his fishing eco alive, but MarineLorD definitely netting an advantage now. PuppyPaw kind of feeling like he's on the clock. He needs to do some of this army. The reason why we're seeing Horsemen on land, by the way, is because of the Hulk cost. He can't build Knights and Hulks. It's way too premium. So he's had to make sacrifices. He's had to skimp on his development of land forces, and it means that these Horsemen are going to easily get pinched time and time again by the spears.
Yeah, obviously this is going to mean that his land-based forces are not as strong as the usual land-based forces of the French. Nice little brace out there with the spearmen to stun the cavalry, let the other infantry get away. Such a nice little micro there by MarineLorD.
He's full just go and fly, you fools. This is the only way he can do it. He has to do it this way because longbows move too slow. They're 1.12 movement speed, so the archers were picking him apart either way. This is just like, this is sacrificing the arm to save the body. He'll keep most of the army alive, and this is important because PuppyPaw needs an escalation on land to take control of this game. You can see him wrap around the horsemen now onto the longbows, but a weird sacrifice to make. I'm not sure if it's going to work out to his advantage. The attack speed buffer there, MarineLorD is going to stay alive, and PuppyPaw needs to be careful not to throw away the advantage. A lot of horsemen going down, but still enough archers to scare MarineLorD away.
Yeah, this was a suboptimal engagement for sure for PuppyPaw over here. Losing so many horsemen over here almost needlessly. He may have thought he's just going to be able to smash the remaining army of MarineLorD, but it was definitely an overextension. And now MarineLorD is gonna have his army survive, and PuppyPaw lost most of his horsemen. In the meantime, MarineLorD massing up a big fleet of galleys, and look at that, shipwrights are now coming up as well for him, so he's gonna have the extra range as well, a bit of an extra for his engagement coming up here.
He needs it though, because if you look at the count, PuppyPaw is closing the gap. This should not be a 1-to-1 ratio. It should be almost double the galleys to the Hulks, and it's not that in this situation. In fact, he's assaulting with just, what, 6 of them? Up against 5 Hulks. He can lose the entire fleet if he doesn't pay attention. Flurry comes in, nice quick back away. Now, PuppyPaw, I believe he still hasn't got sails, and you're seeing the impact of that. He can never pursue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rather underwhelming fleet when it comes to mobility. The firepower is there. It's like the Death Star, really. It's slow, but when it hits you in the face, it's gonna punch you big.
This is like when kids really annoy the next door neighbor that's an old man, and they know they'll get beaten with a stick, but the old man can never catch them, right? They're like, nope, see you, old timer.
More galleys coming up here for MarineLorD. He is also in the possession of a blacksmith, so he could have the attacker brigade. In fact, he already has it. So he's waiting for the critical fight to be taken. 8 galleys against 5 Hawks, though. But there are dogs to absorb some damage with.
There is. Not to mention the fishing boats nearby. PuppyPaw needs to get the dance going already. The flurry arrows coming in. You can see that extra +6 damage from each of these galleys is adding up fast. PuppyPaw, good formation shuffle coming out, but limited damage. In fact, next to no damage done here. He's going to lose the entire fleet. He can't run away anymore. The attack range is too high. PuppyPaw just trying to make the best of a...
Oh, such a big naval fight that we even lost KP over here. Hopefully he's gonna be back for us for the next engagement. But boy, oh boy, all the Hawks are going down over here with minimal casualties on the side of MarineLorD. Loses 1 or 2 galleys at maximum, while also having his eco beaten up by horsemen in the meantime.
Wow. Yeah, and look at this, it's absolutely shellacking. The fishing boats come in to make sure PuppyPaw can trade nothing. He's looking pretty donezo right now. He's got a good standing army on land, but he needs to pinch with his heart. You can see the numbers have escalated. Archer's looking good, Horseman looking good. But MarineLorD, if he's allowed to maintain naval control now for the next 5 minutes, he will come back. So it's important that PuppyPaw lays down the law and converts his land advantage into an advantage by diving MarineLorD's base.
He kinda has to, because his fishing eco is about to get smashed in the face. And remember what we talked about with PuppyPaw.
Oh, Lordy.
Where is his backup? Where is PuppyPaw's backup in terms of food? Nowhere. That's the problem.
Yeah. It's always been the problem here. You knew what you were playing into. You knew the risks associated with it. And now, just 1 Hulk left to defend against 7 galleys. It's not good odds. In fact, PuppyPaw needs to be careful to pull those villagers back that are next to the dock. Otherwise, it's going to be even more eco-sacrifice. In the meantime, Horsemen, just a few, have distracted PuppyPaw so long that by the time he arrives in MarineLorD's base, he's going to be 1.5 miles behind.
Look at that, already an eco deficit of 20 villagers also getting slain on the shoreline. All the fishers gone. Hawks will also be taken down by the galleys over here. Water is now firmly controlled by MarineLorD, and he can focus all his attention on land, basically. Land-based eco advantage is also on his side. Land-based army advantage still on the side of PuppyPaw, but possibly not for long.
But PuppyPaw's not doing anything of it, and that's why it's going to call GG. This was remarkably well done by MarineLorD. It's not just the way he feigned an assault around the naval side, it's the way he used limited military force to force PuppyPaw back into his own base. Buys enough time, ensures that PP would miss his timing to try and close out a land engagement, and ensures that MarineLorD has the scalability to see this out and lead us to a requirement for a third game between these top two players.
As convincing as game number 1 was for PuppyPaw, this was equally convincing, I feel like, for MarineLorD. We have seen 2 games, one of which were dominated by each of these players. Let's see who carries on that momentum to game number 3, which is going to be as standard as possible, going into Dry Arabia in a Mongols versus Abbasids matchup. Obviously, French is being banned from MarineLorD here, so his best civilization is inaccessible. On the other hand, he's going to be in command of the civilization that has the highest win rate of all 8 in Diamond Plus rank letters. So it's definitely not a pushover civilization, though PuppyPaw, he's gonna be commanding the Mongols, a civilization often complained about on the Balanced Discords and everywhere else.
Well, it's because clearly the Balanced Discords haven't actually played Age of Empires 4 in the last 4 months. I mean, the Civ like still has some variability, but like realistically, the things that made it such a nuanced Civ to deal with have been heavily nerfed. I actually think, like, if you look at a raw statistics standpoint, MarineLorD has the stronger Civ, but we've seen the Mongols, like, they are a very much an enigmatic Civ right now. Like, people haven't figured them out. There's still a bunch of strategies being explored. And actually, like, I think Wham has had some of the best strategies. PuppyPaw, surely they've been sharing notes. They've been kind of looking at each other's games. I've got a feeling we might be seeing a leveled up Mongols here, and maybe not a one-sided affair where the Abbasids just run away with it.
Indeed, we just have 2 minutes left to go. The winner is gonna play in the finals over here to face Vortex. And once again, have a chance to secure the majority of the $2,000 prize pool for this weekly event. With both players qualified in this matchup, obviously, for them the weekly points will not be relevant, but they will be facing Vortex, who is yet to qualify, and for who all the weekly points are immensely valuable until he doesn't find a way to qualify in a monthly. So for Vortex, it's gonna be a big set coming up, and he's gonna be facing the winner of PuppyPaw versus MarineLorD. If you would have to make a guess right now, going into game number 3, who do you think